I'm 91 years old, and my new doctor just told me my diet is a ticking time bomb. He's half my age. He said I should be eating mush, pureed peas. I looked at his tired eyes, the little belly under his white coat, and I smiled. That smile comes from a secret I've carried since 1953. Let me tell you what happened. It all starts with my Henry. We met in 52. He was an engineer. He believed you could build anything to last: a house, a love, a life. Our blueprint was simple: joy first, worry later. He'd bring me a chocolate malt after his shift. We'd share a greasy burger at the diner. That was our foundation, not kale, laughter, and fried onions. We built that life, brick by happy brick. Then the world tried to give us a different plan. 1953, the word hypertension came into our house like a rude guest. My doctor then, Dr. Evans, put me on a strict plan: no salt, no fat, no fun. He gave me a pamphlet. He gave me a grim look. I was terrified. Henry saw my fear. He watched me push away my own birthday cake. Something in him hardened. He took that pamphlet, tossed it in the bin, and said, "We're not living like that." That night, he made his famous chili, extra spicy. We ate it right up, and we started counting something else entirely. We stopped counting milligrams. We started counting moments. A perfect bite of cherry pie was a point. A shared ice cream cone on a hot day was 5 points. A dinner where we talked for hours was the jackpot. We tracked joy, not jewels. Henry called it our vitality index. The rule was simple: if it tastes good and you share it with love, it's good for you. Stress over food was the only real poison. That idea carried us for decades. It saw our kids grow up. It saw our hair turn gray. It was tested when Henry got sick, his heart attack in 78. The cardiologist was just like the one today: stern, certain. He blamed our diet, our happiness. He prescribed a prison of brown rice and boiled fish. Henry tried it for a week. He became a ghost. One evening, I brought home 2 small steaks, rare. We ate them in silence, our tears mixed with the meat juice. He smiled for the first time in a month. He lived 18 more vibrant years after that. He passed in his sleep after a slice of pecan pie. A good death. I've eaten for both of us ever since. My days have a rhythm: black coffee with real cream, bacon and eggs, yolk runny, a morning pastry shared with my granddaughter on the video call. Lunch is last night's leftovers: meatloaf, lasagna. Dinner is whatever I crave. The key is the sharing. I cook for neighbors, for my bridge club. The food is my excuse. The connection is the real meal. This rhythm was my armor until my daughter dragged me to the new clinic for a comprehensive workup. They poked me, they scanned me, they took vials of blood. I sat in paper gowns with other worried people. The young doctor, Dr. Armitage, moved fast. He glanced at my chart, then at me. like I was a puzzle. He saw my age and assumed decay. He didn't see the woman who still grows tomatoes, who walks to the library. He saw a number. He called me back today for the results. His face was set for bad news. He laid out the printouts like evidence. Cholesterol a bit high, a small note on bone density. Then his sermon started. The dangers of fat, the need for pills, the miracle of statins. He said for someone your age, every meal is a risk. I let him talk. I watched his nervous hands. He never looked me in the eye. He was reciting a script written by fear. When he finally paused, I asked my question. Doctor, I said, my voice was calm. How do you sleep? He blinked. I sleep fine, he said, defensive. 7 hours, I pressed. He shifted in his chair. 5 or 6, it's a busy practice. And your last real vacation. A flush crept up his neck. What does this have to do with your lipids? He snapped. Everything, I said. I told him my numbers. 8 hours of sleep. 3 laughing friends visited this week. 15 minutes of sun on my face daily. 0 meals eaten alone or in a hurry. I saw a crack in his certainty. Then I told him about Henry's vitality index. I explained it. It's not a diet, it's a doctrine. Food isn't fuel, it's experience, it's memory, it's love. The stress of saying no, of eating alone, of treating joy like a sin, that's the real inflammation. That's what kills you. I told him my bones are strong from carrying groceries, not from a pill. My heart is strong from a lifetime of joy, not just pumping blood. He got quiet. He stared at my chart, not at the numbers, at my birth date. Then he did something remarkable. He closed the folder. He took off his glasses and rubbed his eyes. Mrs. Lawson, he said, for the first time he actually saw me. You are the healthiest 91-year-old I have ever met. Not just physically, in every way. He asked for the chili recipe. He admitted his lunch was a protein bar eaten at his keyboard. We talked for 20 minutes about gardening, about his little boy, about the pressure he feels. The healer needed healing. He walked me out himself. I left without a prescription. I left with an invitation to speak to his medical student. So here's my prescription for you. Stop letting fear tell you what to eat. Eat the cheese. Savor the cake. Share the bread. But do it on purpose. Do it with joy, with people you love. Feed your moments, not just your cells. My body has outlived all the warnings because my soul was never on a diet. I'm healthier than my doctor because I measure in memories and my account is full. Now go call someone you love. Make a plan to share a meal. And for heaven's sake, use real butter. That's all I have to say. My pot roast is calling. That pot roast was Henry's favorite. I make it every Sunday. The smell fills the house. It feels like he's still here. After he passed, people expected me to shrivel up, to eat bird food and fade away. I did the opposite. I doubled down on our life. I hosted more dinners. I baked more pies. Every meal was a way to remember him, to keep him at the table. My daughter worried. She'd see me frying chicken and shake her head. Mom, your heart, she'd say. I'd tell her my heart was just fine. It was full. But she's a worrier like her father wasn't. That's why she made the appointment. She drove me there herself. She sat in the waiting room, flipping through a magazine. She looked more nervous than I was. When Dr. Armitage called me in, she gave me this look, a pleading look, like, please just listen to him. I smiled and patted her hand. I knew something she didn't. I knew my own numbers, not the ones on the chart, the real ones, the ones that matter. I knew my own numbers, not the ones on the chart, the real ones, the ones that matter. And I knew the cost. You see, after Henry died, I kept eating for two, but I was eating alone. That first Thanksgiving, I made the full spread. Turkey, stuffing, the works. I set his place at the table. I sat down, and I couldn't lift a fork. I just sat there and cried. The silence in that house was louder than any noise. That was the real test, not the doctor's warnings, the emptiness. I realized then that the vitality index was broken. You can't score points alone. For a while, I just went through the motions. I ate because I had to. There was no joy in it. It was just fuel. And that's when I felt the worst. Not in my body, in my soul. I was lonely. I missed his laugh across the table. I missed arguing over the last biscuit. I called my daughter. I said, come over, bring the kids. I'm making a pie. She came. We ate. We talked. The scoreboard lit up again. That's when I understood. The food was never the point. It was the bridge. It was how we reached each other. The hardest moment was realizing I had to build new bridges. So I did. I baked pies for the new family down the street. I invited the young widow from my gardening club for chili. I started a weekly lunch with my bridge ladies, where the rule was you had to bring something delicious, not something healthy. The table got crowded again. The laughter came back. Here's what I learned. The real lesson hiding under all that gravy. I was wrong for a little while to think I was just keeping Henry's philosophy alive by eating his favorite foods. That was just a ritual. The love wasn't in the pot roast. It was in the passing of the plate. The vitality index only works if you have someone to share the score with. Don't make my mistake. Don't wait for an invitation. Be the invitation. Cook the extra portion and call someone. Anyone. The food is just the key that unlocks the door. The real nourishment is on the other side. My advice, especially to those of you watching who are my age or getting there, is this. Stop performing life and start living it. They'll tell you to slow down. They'll hand you pamphlets and fears. Nod politely and then go make a grilled cheese sandwich. Call your grandson and ask him to show you how to make that fancy coffee he drinks. The goal isn't to live forever. It's to live fully while you're here. And fully doesn't mean perfect. It means messy. It means spaghetti sauce on your shirt and flour on your nose and laughing so hard milk comes out of your nose. Don't let your kitchen become a pharmacy. Let it stay a place of alchemy, where simple things become feasts and strangers become friends. Your body is a record of every joy it has ever held. Make sure the ledger is full. You still have time. Maybe not decades, maybe not even years, but you have now. And now is enough for a piece of pie. Now is enough to dial the phone. Now is enough to set an extra place at the table. Hope isn't a distant promise. It's the next meal you choose to enjoy. It's in the warmth of the oven and the clink of forks. My hope for you is a crowded table. My hope for you is a heart so full of memories it can't help but keep beating strong just to make a few more. If this little story of mine meant something to you, if it made you think of your own Henry or your own secret joy, then do an old lady a favor. Share it. Hit that like button so I know I'm not just talking to my own walls here. Subscribe to this channel. They tell me it helps. And at my age, I'll take all the help I can get to keep these stories coming. Turn on notifications so you don't miss the next one. But more importantly, leave a comment down below. Tell me one food that tastes like joy to you. Is it your mother's potato salad? The smell of fresh bread? I read every one. They make my day. And if you share this video with someone you love with a note that says, "Let's have steak on Tuesday," well, that would just make my whole year. That's how this works. We pass it on. We keep the table growing. The folks who run this channel have even set up a place where you can send in your own stories, your own recipes for a good life. I'd love to read them. Maybe there's a book of all our wisdom in there somewhere. Now I've gone on long enough. The real work is waiting. There's a pie crust that needs rolling out, and my bridge club is coming over at 4. We're having lemon meringue, and I can promise you, not a single one of us will be counting anything but our blessing.